have my project proposal. As you can see, if you click the arrows, I have given a proposal about what my project is and certain websites that I'm going to be using. I have my PowerPoint pitch that has everything that I've explained. Yeah. I have my idea 1, my idea 2, my explanations for each of them, my strengths and weaknesses, my idea generation, and then I also have my SWOT analysis, and then lastly I also have my final idea of which one that I wanted to choose. The possible schedule that I planned was on Asana. It was a really good website for me to plan out all of my weeks, what I'm going to be doing each day, etc., etc. I also planned some interviews that I might do with people that I wanted to interview my friends and family, but also people outside of this project. I have my FMP SWOT, where I was talking about all of my strengths, my weaknesses, the outcome opportunities that can come with this whole project, and what threats may occur during this whole project too. Questions I thought about. These are the questions that my teacher set for us to think about fully, like to think and generate ideas. My idea generation related to my FMP pitch. I also thought about what I'm going to be doing for this project, where I'm going to be going with this, etc., etc. These are some FMP questions that I have answered. So, yeah. This is my research page. I first talked about primary research and what type of, different types of research that there are. There are a lot of different types. I had surveys / questionnaires, which I mainly did for lots of my primary research. This is going to help me throughout this whole project because then it will help me know my target audience and where I really need to improve in certain areas, what I should be focusing on next. My research planner. This is a very vital, important thing that I wanted to look at, especially, as it really will help me know and acknowledge what I'm planning to do further on when it comes to doing my techniques and how I'm going to go through with them in a way. Places I visited. This is my primary research about what I thought of a really successful company. As during the half term, I went to this bakery in London, and it was a really nice Japanese bakery, which is similar to the bakery that I'm looking at. Because it's in London, it's going to be more high-end in a way, compared to the one in Colchester, where it's very low-key and not many people know. This is a bakery that I also looked at, but this is the one that I'm going to be doing for this project. My secondary research, when it came to this bakery, was their website, which I really wanted to improve, which really generated this whole project in the first place. Because even though the bakery was really good, their company brand, if you see the arrows, the company, when it came to the website, wasn't as well built compared to the bakery itself. So I wanted to improve it in a way and I took notes of what things could help further on. Festivals and outlets. I was looking at festivals and outlets for this project as I wanted to think about presentation-wise of where I wanted to go with this. Because there are many places that really focus on like baking itself. And there were lots of outlets going on, there were lots of festivals going on. And I wanted to try during my half term or something, like during my free time, to go visit one of them. Websites. I looked at 4 more websites that are somewhat related or will help me know where the balance is for a professional or good website. As I looked at Toronto Cupcakes, where the bakery website was really nice, but it wasn't intriguing enough for people. If you scroll down, there is Yale Art of the School, which was surprising to me about how, it was surprising to me that the website looked like this for an art website. But if you scroll down, compared to a very known well bakery, Greggs, the website looks really good. You can see a lot of the products, you can see where it went, what they really focus on and what is eye-catching. They also look on the website, they very much focus on the sausage rolls that they're famous for, which brings in a lot of customers, obviously, as they are not only cheap but also really good. And lastly, again, I went back to Sakurado, which I mainly based the website on, because it was very clean but also intriguing to people, as it always brought people in. It gave that sense of authenticity, very much like it felt like home for a lot of people of ethnicities. So yeah, my project planner of action. Again, I used Asana at first. But I then changed it to my Apple Calendar, as it gave me more of a sense of that I needed to do this. Like, it gave me more of a locked in situation, as I'm always on my phone, so it reminds me what I needed to do. My target audience. I looked very much into my target audience about who likes bakeries and like what really brings people in when it comes to bakeries. I thought about what the age ranges, all of that lot. So it gives me some knowledge of what I need to do going forward with this project and who my target audience is. My contextual research. I looked a lot at professional websites, as it really, really will help me throughout this project, as obviously I'm making a website. And then I not only looked at different types of websites for my contextual research, but I also looked at professional websites that were already made, aka Greggs and Sakurado, which are my main 2 that I have chose to go forward with this project, because they are very successful when it comes to their bakery. And then I also looked at theories and techniques, as there are many techniques when it comes to website layouts and whatnot, because you also have to think about color, you also have to think about how the layout is too, as people can get very much overwhelmed by certain websites, like Yale of Arts. So yeah. And for my second contextual research, I did advert photography. I wanted to look into advert photography as obviously I'm going to be taking photos for the website. So I looked into how adverts really make their food appealing. And how I did that was looking on YouTube, as there were many videos that I grew up with, looking at how people made the food look unlike the actual thing.
Appetizing.
Mm-hmm. It was false advertising in a way. And I also looked into the psychology and effects of these, and how people are so much more drawn in to the fact that food looks better than the actual outcome of things. So yeah. And then I did my primary research of the questionnaire. I looked at both, I asked people both on what their opinions are on Greggs and Sakurado, and what they like about both websites. And there was a lot of this and that. There were a lot of positives, but there were also some negatives, as Greggs apparently looked cheap compared to Sakurado. For my question 3, I asked people what they expect to see on a website. Well, on a bakery website itself. People said costs, menus, etc., etc. But then there were also foods like signature colors, the size of the food, ingredients, etc., etc. They added a lot of what they would want to see on the website. I then looked at for question 4, I also asked if they would be interested in the company's story, as when I looked at both companies, they talked about their story and how it came to be. And there was a very dominant yes compared to no. So I planned to do an interview with the owner. For question 5, I asked people what they think the age range is. And there was quite a large gap when it came to what people thought about the age range was. As there were people who said 16, 15, 30, and lots more. For question 6, I asked people what kind of theme they would like more. A high-end, expensive, aesthetic website, or a homemade one. And there was a very big yes to homemade. So that gave me a sense of what kind of mood boards I need to make for this website. And then for question 7, I also asked what people would want to see first, savory or sweet, as obviously Greggs had their savory first on the website, while Sakurado obviously has their sweet stuff on their website. So asking people what they wanted to see first would let me know going forward what they would like. And there was a very dominant sweet when it came to this. And my conclusion was that I needed to start on Tuesday and Wednesday, that I'd be looking at videos and websites that really go into this area. I wanted to make mood boards and all of that for this. I came across a lot of problems. I came across a lot of problems when it came to thinking about what this project was going to be. As I can get very focused on one website than the other, because I did originally plan to do an Instagram alongside a website. But in the end, I felt as if it was too much for me. So I just stuck to one. My next one was possibly making a video for this website on Premiere Pro. But the issue was I have had many issues when it came to Premiere Pro and trying to save my projects and whatnot. And lastly, I found a problem when it comes to planning. So I wanted to do a digital planner instead, so then I could have it on my phone 24/7 or even on my computer. Then there were problems that came later on, as when half term came around, I was very much relaxed. And planning was very complicated, and I needed to catch up a lot. So what I ended up doing was making a schedule on my phone for me to actually stick to and not forget anything. And then I had another problem that came across, was that my website felt as if it was missing something, that I needed to do something more with it. As around this time, it was around the time that I thought that the bakery website was good, but not good enough. So what I ended up doing was, I needed to catch up a lot, I needed to focus more, I needed to know what I needed to do. I needed to make a to-do list. This was a big problem. Because when I was trying to save some photos from my Google Drive, for some reason it came out like this when I tried to upload it to Wix. A lot. It came up like 3 times every time I tried to do it. So what I ended up doing is I had to screenshot the images instead and save them to my Wix website instead. And this was also a problem when I was doing my mood board. During my mood board, I was making it on my Photos app, because there was a drawing feature that you could do on there. But for some reason, it was always unable to save. Experimentation plan. If you scroll through, we needed to plan 5 types of experiments that will help with our major project. But each of them we have to give a brief explanation for what we're going to do and why we're going to do it. We were trying to achieve many things, but yeah. The experiments that I will be doing, or will try to attempt, are how to make desserts look good in adverts, mastering the art of food content creation, baking videos, editing, how to make a website look professional, and further developing with color grading. I wanted to do a Wix website for my platform selection. I ended up scrapping doing my Instagram one, because around the time that I started doing my Wix website, I I ran out of time when it came to making an Instagram for the bakery, so yeah. We started, around this time, we started doing a mind map of our action plan of what we were going to do. What research we were going to do, our action plan, our project idea, action plan again, end of the week outputs, and our resources. Practical skills. When it came to my practical skills, I really focused on what the website would look like. I really focused on what colors people would like. I looked at the colors beige, gray, blue, and like a sagey matcha green. And I also looked at beige again, light blue again, but I changed the colors of green and gray with pink and red because they were very popular on Pinterest. I really wanted to focus on different types of areas when it came to my color swatches. And I thought of fonts that I wanted to do for this project. I did a poll on Instagram of what people thought about what color would go great with warm ivory, peach or warm rose. And there was a very prominent warm rose. But I ended up scrapping it, and I wanted to go with a different color scheme instead. So what I ended up with was these 3 color palettes. As one of them was off Pinterest, it was just like idea of what people liked. The second one was my research of when it comes to color theory, because colors can very much coordinate with motions, and I wanted to focus that a lot when it came to option 2. And for option 3, I asked a friend which one she preferred more out of these colors, like the colors that stood out to her more. And looking at the polls, option 2 was a very big one for people, as it was also on my public story, so lots of people could see it, lots of people could vote on what they wanted. For my bakery, the first time I had made this was, I didn't know yet at the time what I wanted to call, like, what I wanted to do with this whole idea. As if you go through the website, well, through these slides, there aren't much, as it was just the concrete to what I was starting. So not many things were going on. But I did a run through again of the bakery, and I added more. I added a logo, I added the name, but I didn't add much up here nor down here. But I started adding more and more. It was slowly and surely come together. I started doing the About Us page, I started doing the contact page, how to find them on the About Us page, the different types of services that they do, and also the product page. I started setting it up, which is a very key thing, obviously, for a bakery website. But obviously there aren't much to the website right now. It's very plain. It didn't feel like enough still to me. Like I needed to do more. So that's what I did. I added a lot more to the bakery. I added a lot more to the website. I wanted to add that. I added more color. I added more ideas to this. There was so much more going on. I added more colors, as it was always just mainly beige and there wasn't much blue, which is also a key thing. I got rid of the green throughout the color scheme. The green didn't really fit in with this whole color scheme, and I replaced the gray with white instead. I wanted to add borders. I wanted it to seem more out there. I wanted to seem more homey, more impactful to the audience. And I did this. I took inspiration from many websites on Pinterest. Pinterest was a very big website that I used a lot throughout this project. So yeah. This is the mood board that I wanted to do for the bakery that I was gonna take photos for. Like photos of food that people have done, like this, these, all of that. I wanted to take these ideas and put my own spin on it. So that's what I did. I talked about like my photography, my ideas, my plans, the results. These were my results of each day. And this was the outcome of day one. The outcome of day one made the food of my editing, made the food more look, how do I say, more richer, more fresh to the audience. And I went back for day two because I felt like that I didn't do enough photos. I even asked the baker if I could take photos at the bakery for this project. And she said yes, and even gave me photos of previous orders she did. So I was able to get custom orders that she's done previously to show up on the service page too. So yeah. Very practical. When it came to color grading, as you can see here, the colors look all dreary and dark and not appealing to the audience. And even more, there are so many like that. But when I tweaked the lighting, when I tweaked the color variation, it looked so much more brighter, it looked so much more delicious to the audience. It felt fresh, it felt like it was just made. So yeah. And my behind the scenes, I took some photos and I'm showing how I took them by my friend taking photos behind me. I went to the bakery, but around the time the bakery was closed, so I only took a photo of the outside for now. But then, later on in the day, I bought one of the cakes, I bought a few of the food, and I took it home and I took photos. So yeah. My reflection and evaluation. Each day, each week, really showed of how much I had previously done. So for week one, I looked at the bakery, I looked at both, physically looked at the bakery, and I did my SWOT analysis too. I really looked through the bakery and what they sold, what is there, etc. And I did my SWOT analysis. For week 2, I did my F&P pitch, obviously. I also did my contextual research. So yeah, but I also was planning the week ahead of what I wanted to do, looking at 5 websites. I originally made it on a Google Docs of what was really good about each website. For week 4, was my contextual research. And I also did a quick survey of yeah. This week, I really looked into my contextual research actually, because week 4 was about me looking and planning my contextual research. This was my actual research for why I wanted to do each of them. So yeah, I talked about like professional websites and obviously advertising food. For week 6, I looked into doing a questionnaire, because this questionnaire helped me a lot when it came to planning my website, well, planning the bakery website actually. So yeah. Week 7 was another questionnaire survey kind of poll thing that I did, and it helped me determine what colors people wanted, what ideas I could generate through this. Week 6 was my photography week. I took photos and then I did some editing on them. And as you can see from my practical skills, obviously. On week 9, I started going back and rehearsing my bakery website, because it really needed a lot more improvement since I did my photography. I needed to add more, I needed to know what I needed, like where things should go and how much more I should add. My week 10 reflection was just me finishing up a lot of my website, like filling in the gaps. And my evaluation was that I think in the end all of this went really well. I think that I was able to, I really improved a lot when it came to making websites. It really improved when I came to communicating more with my friends and even with people outside of my friends. So yeah. And my presentation. For my presentation, I looked at different methods, like what are the different methods in the first place, like what type of branding. I looked at what each of them are specifically. As you have different types, you have short video, you also have content of just pictures, you also have a portfolio website, electronic press kit, which was quite new to us. Yeah. A pitch deck, live streaming, demos actually, which are very interesting, and conventional platforms, community platforms. But then further down, you can see that You good?
Yeah.
Sorry. Further down, you can see that I looked at advantages and disadvantages, and I have linked all of the websites that I saw that these were on. I always link the websites at the top of the page. And underneath all that was my presentation decks. I did a 6-slide mini, yeah. Except I ended up making more pages than I should have. But they were more so introduction pages to the actual page. But yeah, I wanted to plan micro slides. I looked at the advantages to them and the disadvantages to them. And the summary, which really would improve, like, bringing the bakery more out to people. My A3 presentation board, I did these on Canva, but I wanted to make it very related to the brand. I wanted to focus on the colors of blue, all of the colors that I did on the website. So yeah. And my storyboard was talking about each part of this whole journey, about starting the F&B to the end. I then lastly did a mock-up bit of what I did for each of them. I very much focused on a lot of the design, but I did want to be informational about everything that I did. So yeah, and my outcome. I have the link to the website at the top of the page underneath my final outcome, but you can also scroll through the pages too. And that is, my evaluation is underneath reflection head. So yeah. I said so yeah a lot.